Hi, Ian Roberts and Mastering Composition. I want to talk to you this week about when inspiration strikes. The other day, Anne, my wife, and I were walking in our neighborhood and I saw this. And it completely stopped me. And it wasn't like, I'm in the whole wide world, 360 degrees, everything's going on, and this one little piece grabbed me. And a half hour earlier, a half hour later, the shadows would have been doing something else and there would have been nothing. It's just these big shapes of light and dark, the drama of it. And what stopped me was the design. It wasn't the subject matter, marigolds and lawns, because if the shadows had been different, nothing would have caught my attention. And here's the painting I did. I was originally thinking of doing it 10 by 12 for the video, and then I thought, no, big simple shapes, I'm going to do it big. So I did it 30 by 36 in one go. It's design driven. I used the 2-inch house painting brush for most of it, and I'll show you the painting process now. So you can find the colors that I'm using in the little, just down below. But I'm using a 2-inch house painting brush pretty much, and just big flat areas of color. And that was the big mass of bushes behind. It was quite dark, low intensity color, so it was kind of the easiest one to put in first. Now I'm sort of developing the color that I want for the grasses, the big masses of the grasses. And you'll see that I change it around. It doesn't stay exactly the same. Part of it's just as I mix more paint, it's a little different and it doesn't matter to me. See, that's a little bit richer in color. And then I gradate it down in the bottom right. But you see, I'm just scrubbing it in there. You could be house painting for all the care I'm taking on this thing. The big masses are going in really, really simply. It's on the edges that you sort of get the information. So this is the center of interest right there. And I've got a really dark hit of color. And then just where the shadows are really dark and those bushes, I'm putting a few colors in. And then this is the shadow side of the concrete. Again, it's very blue, strong temperature shift. And you'll see the temperature shift that happens on the sunlit grass as well. Very warm and cool. I don't go as orange as this, as the photograph when I get to I have it sort of more yellow, because it's kind of a yellow-green play that I've got, rather than just going so dramatically orange. But again, still pretty big brush. This is the sunlit side of the concrete, and you can see that it's got yellow, ochre, and orange in it, and the sidewalk is in shadow is blue. You can see the color temperature there. But again, simple shapes. There's just nothing going on here except one big shape after another. Now I'm looking at the sunlit side of the grass, and so you can see I'm pulling way more yellow and warm yellow out of there, and then I'm just putting it in, testing it, make sure it's going to be okay. But if you get that big temperature shift, like I was talking about last month actually when I was painting that painting of Anne in the porch, you get that temperature shift and you get the value shift happening, you start to approximate the sense of sunlight, because you're using pigments here. You're not, it's not the real world with sunlight. You're just trying to approximate it, and you need all the tools in your arsenal, sort of. So here I've got a slightly different green. It's a little cooler green, just because the plant is a little cooler. And there you can see sort of the variety of sunlit greens that I'm using throughout this thing. But the main thing is that I got hit by the strength of the design, and I'm holding to that big, simple mass of shapes that had caught my attention in the first place. I don't want to get caught up in the little details. There I'm getting a transition color that moves, across from sunlit to dark, and now I'm mixing the color for the marigolds themselves. And as I say, I don't have them as orange as they are in reality. I wanted kind of a yellow orange to play against the green, as opposed to pretty much pure orange. So I'm just blocking in, again, still pretty big brush, 1.5 inches probably, just blocking in the big sunlit shapes, and then I'll have shadow sides to it, and there'll be shadow sides to the green, and so on like that. But right now you'll see I'm blocking it in very simply. I'll carve back in with the dark to get a little bit more sense of the individual plants. But the main thing I want to do is just keep working with the big shapes and not getting distracted by details, right? Big, simple shapes. The whole thing that attracted me was the big, simple shapes. So I just want to keep doing that and making sure I'm getting the values. Now here, you see there's one color I mixed and realized, well, that's not it. It needs to be bluer than that. I'm trying to think, now what am I going to do here to get this color? So that's kind of the color I've chosen for the shadow side of the marigolds. I don't know that I've ever painted shadow colored marigolds before, so I'm trying to figure it out. Right here, you're pretty much seeing it. And then I put it in because there's a big shaft of shadow across it at the back. But it's still a pretty warm color because it's an orange flower, but it needs to have the same value shift and the same temperature shift as the grass and the concrete. So I'm just sort of playing those three things so that they all work in conjunction. But then I'm just putting in the darks and for what will be the shadow side of these, and then just filling in all the little places where with my big 2-inch brush I couldn't fill them in. So I'm just closing up all the white canvas. And then now I'm carving the darks into the marigold shape to sort of say that, oh, I see, there's actually individual flowers here. Even though I blocked it in very loosely, I'm sort of carving the shapes of those things back into it to give the sense of a few places. It's not detail, but a few places of that shape against the dark that says, oh, I see what it is. And then now I've got almost pure orange that you can't see it very well now, but sort of pure orange that I'm carving across the top of where some of these flowers are really catching the light. You just kind of pop that edge. And then the only place you could say there's detail is where a light and a dark meet on the edge. And that's where I sort of break it up a little bit to give the sense of, oh, that's where the detail is, not in the big mass, right on the edge. And then there is the finished painting. And you can see I really held to that big, simple idea of big, dark and light shapes. I did not get complicated. It's 30 by 36. You can see sort of the brush work in some places, but basically it's these big shapes carrying the painting. That inspirational moment that said, oh, will you look at that? And I wanted to hold on to it. So I have a suggestion for you. On the next sunny day, take your camera out in the early morning or the late afternoon, go for a walk, and start looking for design shapes of light and dark. Not at subject matter, but at the design shapes of what's happening here out in the world, that's something that captures your attention. And then take a picture of that and then try painting that simply. Let the design carry it. And if this idea of design-driven painting appeals to you, have a look at my free video, 4 Compositional Principles for Better Painting. You can find it at ianroberts.com. So listen, I hope you have found this helpful, and I hope you have a rich month of creative expression. I'll see you April 4th. And until then, bye for now.